Now, if everybody can make the way from Irish, right at the head of the room, at the other end of the fence.
Way to go. Toby, good job. Toby. Toby, hey. Just check these up in the cup. Is there a chiv in the house? Anyone a chiv? Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, no one's a chiv. Maybe you'll lead us? No. By the way, the 25 years old class is my first. Coming. No, Mr. Let's find the table. You want to find it? Yes, no car? No. Maybe.
איפה אתה לוקח סאונד?
פה. אל תיקח לי סאונד, למה עכשיו? סאונד מצוין.
אני אשים לך ליד הספיקר. או ממנו, או ישרת עיניו. אבל איפה?
עומר שלי אבא כל אמן.
Everybody's invited to make your way over to wash in the corner here and to find yourself a seat.
למה אני לא יכול לקבל? מה רע בזה? פה, הם מדברים פה, שומעים פה, זה מההד. מה אתה מסתבך? מה אתה מסתבך?
Once again, everyone's invited to wash and find yourself a seat to sit down for the break.
אני מחבר את המייק. אני חושב בוא נבדוק. אתה יכול לבדוק את הסאונד? בסדר, הנה, סיימנו. מה אתה דואג?
Kindly find your seats, please. Bruchim Aboim. Good Yontev. We're going to do the Siyum Atanya now. The end of the Tanya is talking about that a person should fast in order to be mechaper on his avonos. The Alter Rebbe finished the Tanya. It says, Liyos machmas. Because of the weakness of the generations, we cannot fast accordingly like we're supposed to. Whoever keeps Shabbos according to his halacha, Kosh Baruch Hu is mechaper on his sins, ki elchol soy daiko, velochen mutar al kol echad ve'echad liyos boki b'ilchus od rabos od leshaboso, v'gam yizor me'od shelo lasuach shum sicha chas v'sholem, beteila chas v'sholem, liyos medar zois le'yegdechein, ki v'choy la'mitzvos yesh pnimius v'chitzonius, v'chitzonius me'ashabas hu shifto ma'asiya gashmis, ki moy sheshabas Hashem milasu shamayim v'oretz gashmim. The chitzonius of the mitzvah of keeping Shabbos is not to do a balacha. Just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he rested on Shabbos. Upnimius ha-Shabbos hi hakavonu betfila b'Shabbos v'talmud Torah ledavka b'Hashem echad. K'moy shekosu b'Shabbos l'Hashem aleikecha zohi b'china zochoy. The pnimius is davening with kavana, learning Torah on Shabbos. This is the pnimius of mitzvah of keeping Shabbos. V'b'china shomer b'pnimius hi hashifto midiburim gashmiyim k'moy sheShabbos Hashem miyuda ma'amore shenivru b'hem shamayim v'oretz gashmiyim kizeh le'um hazeh chulu. So in order for us, in our generation, we don't have to fast. Alter Rebbe is giving us a way out from fasting, which is keeping Shabbos ki ilchuso. Ki l'chol soy daiko. As every year, we have Siyum HaShas. Rabbi Morozov is going to give the Siyum HaShas, and we have the Chalukas HaShas that we do every year, that everybody takes upon a Masechta. This year we also put the Mishnayos on the list. We have for the Bachrim who want to participate. They can by taking a Maseches of Mishnayos. And please try to fill in the whole page, and we should be able to finish the whole Shas till next year. Abichem.
Tona devei Elio kol hashon alochis b'chol yom muftach lo sheben elam haba. This is the end of the Shas, and we're concluding the Shas now as a chazaka for a third time. In the years of the war, the Veretzky Rebbe put out a publication called Akriya V'Kedusha. Veretzky Rebbe came out with a call to Klal Yisrael Alta L'Tshuva Alta L'Geula. The campaign was to do tshuva and to bring Mashiach. The Veretzky Rebbe would publish articles, all kinds of mystical things, or oisis, parchis, letters that were flying, which Chassidim thought were like anticipation of the coming, a prophecy. They were published only in the war years, and then were stopped afterwards, never reprinted. Veretzky Rebbe used to write articles with a pen name, Ish Yehudi. Ish Yehudi. Ish Yehudi was the Veretzky Rebbe. It was really my motto that he wrote in simple Yiddish. In one Maimer, he tells a story of the Alter Rebbe. A young man came with his father-in-law. They were married, they were happy. He was a wealthy father-in-law. He promised to support his son-in-law to learn Torah. And all of a sudden, everything changed. The darkness descended on him. He has doubts, shaylas and emunah. And it hurts him, and it bothers him. But he doesn't find his place in Judaism. The Alter Rebbe said that inadvertently, below Yoidin, he had once ate cholov akum. He once ate cheese that was from a goy. And that's why spiritually it dragged him down. The Alter Rebbe said they should do tshuva. He told them what to do, and his entire life changed spiritually. In the Tanya and Perek Ches, the Alter Rebbe says, what does it mean when something is muter or asur? The word permissible in English goes from muter. Forbidden is asur. The word muter doesn't mean permissible. Asur doesn't mean forbidden. Asur means it's tied. There's a knot. Muter means it's untied. There is no knot. The Alter Rebbe explains in chapter 7 that when something is forbidden, the Rebbeinu Shalom is telling us that the energy in this food, for example, is really, there's a knot. The chayas, the vitality, is from klipa. It's from an impure place, and if we ingest it, it drags us down because it gives us energy, and the energy that it gives us is from tumah. And what is mutter? Mutter means it's untied. We have the ability to eat it l'shem shamayim, and if we do eat it l'shem shamayim for heaven's sake, we use the energy to learn Torah, we use the energy to do a mitzvah, use the energy to tefillah, so then we elevate it to holiness. If we don't use it, so temporarily it drags us down, but we can always bring it up. Asur, it drags us down, and it's permanently tied to the klippus. And the Alter Rebbe says, and these are the words in Perek Ches, foods that are forbidden are why they're called isur. He didn't know, and he ate it l'shem shamayim. And then he went and he served Hashem with the power of that energy of the food. It's not going to help. The energy will not be elevated, and it won't be mislabesh. The tevis HaTorah that tefillah will not be going into and clothing itself in the words of Torah tefillah. Here's the crucial line. Even if it's a rabbinic injunction. Even if it's a rabbinic injunction. The Nesivos, in the Shulchan Aruch, Chosh Mishpat 234, Siman Reish Lamed Daled. So the Shulchan Aruch says that if there's a seller and a buyer, and the seller sells him something that's forbidden, even if the buyer eats it, he has to return the money. A Jew, if he ingests something that's not kosher, there's no anah from it. But if he sells him an isur of the Rabbanan, something that's food forbidden according to the Rabbanan, he doesn't. If he ate it already, he doesn't have to pay him back for it. Then Nesivos asks him why. Nesivos says because when something is forbidden according to the Torah, it's inherently evil. But if it's forbidden according to the Rabbanan, it's not inherently evil. If there's an injunction, it's against me. It's on the government, it's not on the chefs. It's on me, I'm not allowed to eat it. But if I didn't know that I'm not supposed to eat it, I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And furthermore, the Or Sameach explains in Parashat Shoftim, the Or Sameach says, he gives an example. It says, a king says that you have to listen to the constable. You have to listen to the police. He cares if the police says this or that. He wants to be law and order. He doesn't care about the details of what the police says. He just wants law and order. The Rebbeinu Shalom said that we have to listen, like also we can't go away from the words of Chacham. He just wants that the Jews should be a unified force. We have to listen. The details of what they say is not relevant. The details of what they say are not relevant. They're not sanctified. The details are not the Rebbeinu Shalom's concern. So if that was the case, so the question is, what was the story with the younger man? He ate something that was forbidden only according to the Rabbanan, according to the Sidus and the Or Sameach, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing inherently wrong by ingesting something that's also the Rabbanan. It's only if you know that you're going against the will of Chachamim, then the Rebbeinu Shalom is upset. It's against the Rebbeinu Shalom's Rotzah, against his will. But otherwise, you did nothing wrong. So the question is, what is the Tanya saying? And what's the story with this younger man that spiritually ruined by eating cholavak and below yodim by not knowing? The story is not everyone agrees with this notion. The Or Sameach and didn't see this. In the generation before the war, it's called the Galatiana Chaim Brisker. It was called, he wrote the Sefer Asron Veretzky. His name was Yosef Engel. He was a brilliant mind. And chapter 10, Asron Veretzky, brings a story from the Tanchuma. Tanchuma says, what do we do Hanukkah? If I have a little extra oil from the first night, use it the second night, the third night, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth. I have the last day of Hanukkah, a little extra oil, can I use it in my frying pan? The answer is no. You're not allowed to use the oil. You have to burn that oil. You can't use that oil. A man shouldn't say, I'm not going to listen to the words of Chacham. The Rebbeinu Shalom says to him, no, B'ni, my son, you should know that I agree to everything they say. If they make it Gzeira, it's that way. So the Yas from the Reis said, I don't understand. You ever heard something? The halacha is, you should do this. If you might say, I don't want to do it, my son, you have to do it. What kind of language is this? So it explains the Yas from the Reis that if something, what happens when something is a mitzvah, the holiness is in the mitzvah. It's like kodesh, it's a design to use. This is holiness. This is holiness. I use it in my frying pan. This is holy. How can I use this in my frying pan to make latkes? This is holy. It's a design kodesh. It's a design mitzvah. So one might say, a person's going to say, hey, wait a minute. The mitzvah of Chanukah is a rabbinic injunction. So it's only on the Gavra, it's only an injunction on me. But it's not inherent. It's not that the oil itself became holy. The Moshe says, me, my son, it's not that way. When Chazal make an injunction, that's it. It becomes holy. The oil of Chanukah really becomes holy. And also the Ein Yitzchak, the Yitzchak Elchanan Spector, the Gadol Ador, in his time, right? It says that it's clear. You see, the Shach says in Shulchan Aruch and Yeridei Simon Pei Aleph that even though you're not responsible for everything your child eats, the person should be very careful. Because if once a kid eats a morsel of food that's not kosher, it's metamtem alei v'goyim lo yiteva. So we see that many of our sages understood that it wasn't the case that Issa de Rabbanan is just an injunction on the person. It's inherent, the mitzvah and the Aveda that the food you're not allowed to eat according to the Rabbanan actually is a dover Issa. That's what the Alter Rebbe was saying in time. It was Friday night, the house of the Noch in Chernobyl. Rebbetzin tucked away the challah in the bag, she put away the chicken soup. The chon was sitting in the oven. Everyone went to bed. It was the middle of the night, and they woke up. There was a thump. They come running. The Noch was sprawled on the floor. pain. He just walked over a chair and he fell. Picked him up. Said, Dad, what happened? No, the lantern is burning. You didn't see the chair. The lantern is burning. It's pitch dark in this room. I don't see anything. It turned out that it was Friday night and they forgot to turn on the lantern. If Nochem would sit and learn Torah all night Friday night, they realized that that's all right, what are they going to do? So they got to go to light the candle. And it's forbidden. It's forbidden. Nochem said, this is what the Mishnah says in Avodah Zarah Daf Lamed Hey. Cholav shechol vayakum ve'ein yisrael ro'yei. Simple meaning is that if the milk was milked by a goy and a Jew doesn't see it, it's forbidden to eat. A Yid cannot see such a thing. If the Rabbanan said that a goy cannot turn on the lantern, that lantern does not produce light. For the Nochem of Chernobyl, it was dark in the room. He actually tripped and fell and hurt himself. There was no light. The lantern didn't shine. Why? Because the Rabbanan said that goy is not allowed to turn on a light for a Jew. So there was no light for him. Again, underscores this notion of the Tanya that it's also the kosher b'yad chitzonim, and even something which is a mitzvah that Rabbanan, issa that Rabbanan from the rabbis. It's not just an injunction on the gavra; it's inherent. It's in me. And that brings us to the siyum of Masechta Ve'edach. Even though we're finishing the entire Shas, it's like a circle. I'm always finishing a specific Masechta, like everyone here is finishing a specific Masechta. Partners, like the Rebbe said many times, it's shnaim sosu. If two people do it in partners and they can't do it alone, so it's as if you did the whole thing. When you're a member of this Chalukas HaShas, it's not only your Masechta you're learning, it's as if you're learning the entire Shas. Soon be coming around. We have plenty of Masechtas on the menu, and we ask please everyone join in this Chalukas HaShas. The siyum of Masechta Ve'edach. The Gemara, the Mishnah, final Mishnah says, that the Gemara says that there's a dispute when there was the kinnor in the Beis HaMikdash. If the kinnor, they would play music on Shabbos too, the Levim, also on Shabbos they would play. And then if there was a nima that was ripped, they would have to fix it. So there's machloikis, if oinva, they only made a bow, or also kosher, they also made a knot. Not a kesher shel kayoma, but to make a knot. So there's a dispute if which one can be done. Why? Because if he'll make a knot, he might by mistake make another knot and it will turn into kesher shel kayoma, and then he was over a great ice. The other opinion says, listen, in the Beis HaMikdash, it's permissible, it's permissible. Tanakama, same thing in the beginning of the Masechta. The beginning of the Masechta also talks about this of the general Edom is all about, it's an injunction of the Rabbanan. The Rabbanan said if you have 3 walls, you can't carry here until you put a left or a corridor until you put a beam. Mishnah says, if the beam is too higher than 20 amma, you have to lower it. The Gemara says, Sukkah if the sukkah is higher than 20 amma, fragt die Gemara Kasha, why is it that by the Mishnah Sukkah, you tell me if it's higher than 20, it's possible. Don't say make it lower, it's possible. And why is it here by a Mavu, you say, oh, you're mad, just make it lower. And based on what we said before from the Ur Sameach and the Nesivus, you could say it's quite simple. Because when the mitzvah is a din Torah, so it's inherent, it's possible. If it's higher than 20, it's not an issue to make it, but it's possible. It's not kosher, it's possible. But if it's a modi, which is a rabbinic injunction, it's a gavra, so you can't say it's possible. It's just, you might make it lower. But Rashi doesn't give that shot. Why doesn't Rashi give that shot? He gives a more complicated shot. Because I guess Rashi felt that really there is no difference. Also, a mitzvah that Rabbanan is inherent. Therefore, Rashi gives a different shot. If I Akiva Eger once came to a town. The whole town came to the Makabel Ponim. Rabbi Akiva Eger came one mother crying to the Rabbi Akiva Eger. Dede, Chobatzot. I have 7 boys. 6 boys went to yeshiva. Each boy goes and learns in yeshiva. They excel. Some kids got married. They're learning Torah. It's a good, it's a light. My youngest Yankala, his head is a rock. There's nothing, there's no love for learning, no chumash, no mishnayos. Nothing enters the boy's head. Nothing goes in. Nothing penetrates. Kid is frustrated. He's losing every joy of Judaism. What should I do? Rabbi Akiva Eger said, you have to check everything he eats and everything he ever ate. My Yankala always eats kosher. So they went into an extensive research. Yankala, did you ever eat out of the house? Okay. It happened once I ate out of the house. It was Chanukah, we were coming home from school. We walked by, in the middle of the town, there was a fancy hall. And they called, they said, Kinalach Kamaran, we had extra food for Machansa. And I ate with my friends. I was over to the catering hall. Did you have a chasana? The third night of the shore, takes out the big books. And he opens up and he looks at all the books and he says, yeah, third night of Hanukkah, there was a chasana. So-and-so had a chasana here. Who is the sheikh? It's written in the book. Sheikh. He goes racing to the home of the sheikh, knocks at the door. Sheikh opens the door, he says, I have a question. Did you sheikh last year at the wedding, so-and-so, the third night of Hanukkah? Sheikh starts crying. Sheikh starts crying. He says, what happened? Dave, you fed today? It's a Jewish community? He said, no, it was not. Let me explain to you what happened. I'm doing shuvah since then, but there's nothing, I can't change the past. The day after the wedding, I see a Lubavitcher Chosed in the shul. He says, you mechutza, you shechted for this wedding. Don't you know the story behind this wedding? I said, months ago, this man had gone through a divorce. He'd gone through a divorce. Came to the attention of the Alter Rebbe, the Balatani, but he went through a divorce. And that the Alter Rebbe said that the names on the get were not written correctly. It was possible. The Alter Rebbe wrote the letter to that community that they must do the get again. And that the get is possible. If the person will not, or bride will not come to have a second get, no one should ever marry him a second time because the first get is not kosher. And then the Alter Rebbe said that any sheikh that will participate in shech for such a wedding, shchitos en avela. The shchita will be nevela kedina oiber al takonas chacham, like someone who goes against the takon of chacham. In other words, because the Alter Rebbe said that he shall not get married. So that's takonas chacham. And there is such a concept. If you look in the Alter Rebbe and Aleph, Tzakot and Gimel, they can make an injunction that's so strong according to the Alter Rebbe. So what happened was that it turns out that this was the food that this little boy ate. This little boy ate from this shchita that the Alter Rebbe wrote years earlier that if a sheikh will sheikh, tehei shchitos en avela. Midah Tov and Midah Purani is Midah Tov is always strong. If the Alter Rebbe had the power that when he said Sheikh will sheikh, that's exactly what happened. It wasn't just a rabbinic injunction on the gavna. It was the chefza. The food actually became a shit nevela. And little Yankel was called Nabach Gevan Vershot. Midah Tov is so much more. The Alter Rebbe responded to the Chassidim. The year after Yutas Kislev, a delegation of Chassidim came and they presented the Alter Rebbe with a Megillah Yutas Kislev. Gila, and they wanted to set aside that this day will be a day that every year they will read the Megillah of Yutas Kislev. The Alter Rebbe refused. The Alter Rebbe said, Hayoim hazeh yukva l'moyet nidib Yisrael. This day will be set as a constant, a forever, an eternal moyet by Klal Yisrael. Asher bo yiskadu v'yiskada shnei rabbi. God's name will be sanctified in that day. Asher bo yisoidu alfei levovei shel Yisrael b'teshuv shleim. Thousands of Jewish hearts will be awakened for Tshuva Shlema that day. In other words, what was the Alter Rebbe saying? I don't need a Megillah. I don't need a Megillah. It's carved into the day. It's Kavua. It's in the hefts of the day. Yutas Kislev is not a Yom Tov from the Gam. It's a day that we celebrate Shulchan Aruch, Simulation Ches, Simulation Tes. It happens to his Rebbe and tradition of Klal Yisrael. The story was with the Rambam and the Tosis Yom Tov. There's a whole book. Look in the Veretzky he wrote for his descendants. It's a nest that happens to Rebbe, his children, his descendants. It's not only on the Gavra. The Alter Rebbe said it's going to be on the Hefza. The holiness is in the day. And because the holiness is in the day, that's why Jews will be awakened to the Tshuva Shlema. Had it been an injunction on the Gavra, well, why would there be a Tshuva Shlema? But because the Kiddush is in the day, we will be awakened with Tshuva Shlema. The only thing is we have to go into the day. We have to go into the day. The Nasicha, Tavshin Chazayin, the Rebbe asked, what relevance a story that happened 200 years ago to us today? The Rebbe said, many times, we, in our own life, are in jail. Just like the Isur that's kosher, also the Yadach Chitzonim, something that's in jail. In the hands of the Chitzonim, then these demons that are chasing us finally corner us, and we feel that we are in the dungeon, in a spiritual dungeon. We feel like in a cell. We see darkness and dampness, and we don't feel any warmth, and we don't see the light. And there's sometimes it's for a long period of time in our life, and it's miserable, spiritually miserable. We're in a jail. We feel that we can't break free. Asher boy, if we go into this day, so then we become a Talmud. If we become a Talmud of the Alter Rebbe, then his Geula becomes our Geula. His Chag, his Moed is our Moed. His Geula is our Geula. What we have to do is to open up a Sefer HaTanya. When we open up a Sefer Tanya Kadisha, and we learn, we become a Talmud of the Baal HaTanya. If we're a Talmud of the Baal HaTanya, then there's Haloch and Shulchan Aruch and Siman Reish Yud Ches, that his nest is our nest. So his Geula is our Geula, and his Geula was a very powerful Geula. Because he said that the Magid, the Heilige Magid, the Mezrich, and the Baal Shem Tov came and they told him, and they thanked him for his Mesidus Nefesh, for their Chassidus, for their Torah, and they promised him that his Talmidim will have a Yodam al Yoina, that they will have the upper hand whenever there's a battle for Torah and for Yerushalayim. So what do we have to do in Yutas Kislev? We have to open up a Tanya Kadisha, or we take upon ourselves a Hachlota Torah. But this year, we will learn the Torah of the Alter Rebbe. When we become a Talmud of the Alter Rebbe, will become our nest, or become our... We lately started a Shul Shir Chassidus with Thursday night. We learn a half hour, we learn a Sikha, and a half hour we learn a Maimer. Simultaneously, at the same time, we started a Shir last week, and the Shir is in Lashon Kodesh, also in Sikhs. After 9, it's 8:30 to 9:30. 9:30 we have Maimer, Farbrengen, and Kugel. Shabbos morning. Oh, the address is 1703 Avenue J, basement Menachem. Or you can join us Shabbos morning. In basement Menachem, we learn every Shabbos Lekutei Torah and the Torah 8:30 to 9:30. And by Loisa Mincha, Barava Deraivin, we learn a Maimer from the Lubavitch Rebbe Zechat Tzadik Lebrocha, based on that Maimer that we learned in the morning, explaining the Maimer of the Torah of Lekutei Torah. On Yutas Kislev is a good time to make a Hachlota Torah, to take a resolution that we will become Talmidim of the Alter Rebbe. If we become Talmidim of the Alter Rebbe, then his nest will become our nest. Tonight we have the pleasure of and a Talmud Chochem and a Goyim, who's one of the most celebrated Talmid Chachamim in England. He's the Rav of the biggest congregation in Manchester, England. When I was a Talmud in Yeshiva, in Lubavitch Yeshiva in Manchester, I used to go Shabbos to his droshes, Shabbos, before Mincha, he'd give a shiur. There would be at least 200 people there. That was 20 years ago. Rav Chazan was a big inspiration for me as a Talmud, and he's an inspiration for the whole Kehillah in Manchester. Ted Mapek Margolis, and he flew in especially from England to Farbrengen. So I hope that Mitzvah Shem that tonight Rav Chazan will help us to actually come in, to get into Yutas Kislev, to become Talmidim of the Alter Rebbe. L'chaim, l'chaim.
It's a well-known story of a young man who inherited a small mom-and-pop restaurant in a very dilapidated inner-city slum. But he was a person of vision. He was an entrepreneur, and he decided to go up market. He moved the restaurant into a very trendy, posh, affluent area of the city. And to mark the occasion, the celebrations, his mates, his friends sent him the most beautiful bouquet of flowers. Really a beautiful gesture, until the little card came with the flowers, and he opens it up, and he sees the florist made a most horrible mistake. The inscription on the flowers was, "May he rest in peace." He realized it was Takatos, although he was rather indignant. So he called up the florist to give him a piece of his mind. And the florist says, at this very moment, a funeral is taking place in a different area of town. And the card under the flowers, the bouquet, reads, "Congratulations on your new location." And the moral of the story, my dear friends, is whenever we come to any Farbrengen, the purpose is that we should not rest in peace. The purpose is the Farbrengen should bring us to a new location, a new place. Alachas kind of the Kamel, which is Chagachagim, which is Kislev, where the Rebbe Nishma famously wrote that it's the Rosh Hashanah for Divalagim Chayim, for Chassidus. And on Rosh Hashanah we blow shofar, Uru Yeshenim Yishinavchem, V'tardeim V'kitzu V'tardemaschem. Rosh Hashanah is a way. I remember when I learned in Yeshiva in Montreal, the Mashpia of Farbrengen, of blessed memory, once told the story of how there was a younger man in Montreal who took very ill at the end of Chodesh El. He found himself Rosh Hashanah, Yom Neroyim, never in a hospital bed. And you can imagine someone who knows the Avodah Rosh Hashanah, and to be found in a hospital without a minion, etc., was debilitating. Baruch Hashem, he recuperated. And afterwards, he had the refuah, he wrote to the Rebbe, and he asked the Rebbe what tikkun could Rebbe said that since you just Kislev is Rosh Hashanah L'chsidus, if you make sure that you just Kislev will be the way, in fact, the Rebbe once said, that he was koyel that you just Kislev should have the same meaning of the slicha, the mechila, the kapora, as Yom HaKippurim. And therefore, such a day, Rosh Hashanah is Gematria, the Shein of Ra'nanim, Gematria Beis HaMikdash. Everyone knows that Rosh Hashanah, you don't sleep. In the Beis HaMikdash, you don't sleep. It's a time to wake up to. A time to Chassidim, Tzvarim HaKadosh, the Taich. When Aaron and Kohen kindled the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash, the Pasuk says the most famous Rashi in all of Chumash. Vayas Kein Aaron, the Hagid Shechosri Shel Aaron Shalishim. One of the Tzvarim HaKadosh, one of the Berushim is the greatness of Aaron when he kindled the menorah, which was the Hagonos. The light was so powerful, it was glaring in his eyes, Shalishina, one couldn't go to sleep. So to this Kislev, it reminds me of a story I often tell. The Machzedek once said that someone who had the schus of seeing the Alter Rebbe could have not helped but in the morning wake up a different person. Someone in our generation, can't sleep. And the story told, one of the great Polish tzaddikim was called Tzrisker Magid, son of the Rosh Hashanah, the Magid. And he lived a very interesting life. He rarely ate, he hardly ever slept. And everyone wanted to know, why doesn't he live a normal life like any other person? But no one had the chutzpah to ask him. He was a great Rebbe. Until one day he met Rabbi from Meir Bishop, who was an Enigel, a Shentik. Yidua was a bit of a captain. Was yard side, in fact. And he was not the kind of guy you would mess with. You know, you mess with a Rabbi Meir, it'll turn you into a frog. So he sees that just Gemagid, he doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep. He says, why don't you eat like a mensch? Why don't you sleep? And just Gemagid comes back to my place, because he's basic. I'm too hungry to sleep, and I'm too tired to sleep. And he said, take my coffee. So he grabbed the Baruch, grabbed just Gemagid by the lapels of his neck, and he said, how does it feel to Gemagid? Either you tell me the truth why you don't. Well, they wish, if not, the uprising is there people. I'll rip you out of this world, the uprising, I'll rip you out of the world to come. Terrifying words, I'll spill the beans, I'll tell you the truth. He says his father, another, had a minute in the morning, as many other things, not to speak before daven. First, you address the age, and then a boss of it. One day, suddenly, totally out of character, early in the morning, he wakes me up. He says, Rebbe, we're going for a ride. And Shabbat Magid was a Rebbe, tens of thousands of students. He himself, he attached the horses to the carriage. He led the horses himself, like the Balagova, the outskirts of Chernobyl. He let go of the reins, and the horses began to gallop at a very, very incredibly speedy pace at it. Soon they found themselves in the middle of a very thick forest. And as they travel in the forest, suddenly the horse stops in the middle of the forest, high school. And my father says, Rebbe will wait here. He goes into the house and he comes back with a man escorting him. He's radiating unparalleled, which is the Torah. And I hear my father telling the man telling my father, they're both crying, snooch inside as the time comes. And I had to tell him the truth, the time hasn't come, is great, we're not yet ready. And my father and this other holy man, the saintly man, embraced. My father went back with the carriage, and we journeyed back home to Chernobyl. On the way back, I said, who was that holy man? I said, that was Mashiach. Mashiach Shepherd David. We wanted to know as the time comes to bring the Ula to the world. We had to tell him the truth, the world isn't ready. Maggid then turned to Farbrengen and said, if you would have had the schools to see the face of Mashiach, and you would have had to hear your father tell him to the sight of the state would not yet ready, would you be able to eat? Would you be able to sleep? Comes to you to Kislev, the Hagid, Shechosri, Shel Aaron, Shel Shina. It's a time to, it's a wake-up call. Who are you ashamed? Back in the Bible, it's one of the great Mashpiyim, one of the great Koyzer, they call him Pshilin. Pshilin. Shedovim Abash. And he, before the Rebbe, he would say a long, deep mimer, an hour and a half on Rosh Hashanah, he would go to sleep. And his friends, the Chavedim, said, Shilin, right? Every Pasha you know that Rosh Hashanah you don't sleep. You sleep on Rosh Hashanah, you have a Fashlof in a year. Shilin responded, better a Fashlof in a year than a Fashlof in a mimer. He was the Chayzer, he had to be totally alert. And Shilin knew that if a Yid has a mimer which you're awake, which you're alert, you'll have a year also. And this is before you even begin to Farbrengen. And it could be that a person has to know about a Siddish of Farbrengen. The Friedrich Rebbe once said Sichas. This is Gewiss, it's certain that the Ilula special red letter dates in the calendar, the Rabbeim are truly Ma'irachmin on behalf of Siddish. Aber what Siddim are Kinveya is Vadus of Farbrengen. It's like the Rebbe is sitting here with the land that pan to the Babylon. Like the Alter Rebbe. Yes, interesting story I heard once. When the Rebbe took on the Messias officially in Shvat Toshmi Yiraluf, the Rebbe had to speak to certain people. I know every moment, every nanosecond was incredibly precious. A Bacher from 770, his name was Moshe Groner, blessed memory, was asked to go to the Rebbe's apartment and to help him make contact by telephone. And he did it in the Rebbe's study, and then, once he made contact, he left, gave the Rebbe some privacy, and he went into the salon, into the dining room. And suddenly he saw, to his amazement, there were 10 seats, and next to each seat, there was a sefer of one of the Rebbeim. The Maggid, the Alter Rebbe, the Mittel Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek, the Marag, the Rebbe Nishtuchet, the Friedrich Rebbe. And that which we know today is the Rebbe's Rishon. And he got like a chill down his spine, and suddenly there was a tap on his shoulder, like he saw a bit too much. Have a nice day. When a person celebrates with his Kislev, the Alter Rebbe, and all of his successors, it's a chain. And the chain going upwards also. But Nissen always told the story on his Kislev, story of the Cheskel of Stargut. He heard from Farbrengen or from the Friedrich Rebbe. The Cheskel, he actually saw the Schwarze, the black wagon that the soldiers brought the Alter Rebbe to Petersburg. It was a very bad, negative omen. And he fainted. When he saw them taking the Alter Rebbe, the imprisoning the Alter Rebbe, and all the days of the Tfisa, the Friedrich Cheskel fasted. Until the night of Yudis Kislev, Vayir Tavkuf Nuntas, he had a cholam, he had a dream, and he dreamt, he saw a vision of upstairs, in the cosmos, and the higher levels, in Gan Eden, at the Ilula of the Maggid, the Rebbe of Old City, and Kedu and Ilula of Tzaddik, all the Neshamas in Gan Eden gathered together to hear his Torah. And suddenly the Maggid started crying. The Alter Rebbe is in Tfisa, Siddish is in danger. And they formed the Bezdin. And the Bezdin Paskin that Alter Rebbe has to be released. Who was the Bezdin? Rashmi, the Arizal, and the Holy Moshe. And once he got up from that column, he knew, we're on the way, it's going to happen. But he never left fasted that day, and he told his friends he's going to leave the world, and that will be a kapora, that will be the korban sacrifice, and the Alter Rebbe will be released. And when the idea, they didn't have all these makshirim in those days, when the news comes to the town, they should go to his cave or pour mash. When we're sitting by Farbrengen with this Kislev, who's here? You have 7 generations of Messiah Chabad. you have the Magid, you have the Malshentiv, and it goes back to the Ma'ila Bakoidish. You know, there was this very special, unique connection. Seit der Ashvit, seit der Arizal, Chabad, it's called Nusach, the Siddur is called Nusach Harit. Why? That was all Nusach Sfar, is Nusach Harit. What's connecting to Chabad and Nusach Harit? Couple of stories. One is that the Moshe Tiv set up shop, Kavolos, different than the Arizal. And he said the Arizal up to find out the highest Madregas. So the Tzedek brings it will take us 80 years to be mastered that which the Arizal understood in 2 hours of sleep. After he came, Hashem had a different sense. And the Moshe Tiv accused of the Teres Arizal is matching. People who have limited understanding, from a limited perspective, could misunderstand the Arizal. So the Arizal told the Moshe Tiv, not the Chaper, here's a pen, and you write. And if Siddim says, who was the pen of the Moshe Tiv in the Magid, that's the Alter. You do the famous word, it's for my Krishna. The Reish, then you saw Yotzim, the Ula comes, the Yad Romo. The Reish is Rosh Hashanah, Messiah, the Rechoy, and the Arizal, and the Hashem. The Glei, who was Megaleh the teachings, Sayyid Shimon by Yechoy of the Zoyer, and of the Moshe Tiv. That's the Glei, is the Alter, who brought it down in a way, in a level that we can understand. And one time, when the Magid was saying Torah Bashal Shudus, suddenly a young man with a red beard, who no one recognized, sat down next to him. And when the Magid was saying his Torah, he was mama shaking his head, affirming everything is true. And the Alter Rebbe, who was the youngest Talmud, who was sitting at the back of the table, he asked all of his Chaverim, all of his colleagues, who is that man suddenly was sitting mamash next to the Rebbe? What man? Nobody saw it. So if nobody saw him, and he did see him, so the Rebbe got the strength, and he went over to the Magid to know his identity. I was there to see him, no one else. And the Magid was Megaleh that was the Arizal. So there's a kesher going back that one is able to achieve on Yitzchak, going back all the way back till Hashem. And therefore, if you stand before, picture in your mind, Alter Rebbe is here, all the Rebbeim are here. That's a traumatic, that's a very terrifying thing. It demands. When the Rebbe Rashab was in Rostov, of the state, there was a Polish also came, happened to be there, he was a Polish, he was a refugee, and he comes to the Baba's house, and he didn't know the differences in the cooking, and he started grabbing a bit of the Rebbe's food. Shrei. So the Rebbe Rashab gives him a look, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you stealing my food? But Elish HaChassid, if you do, he says, Rebbe, take the photo, if you eat the Shrei and the leftovers, the tzad, the zakeh, the elevator, it's fine, it's no. To which the Rebbe Rashab famously said, my shrine is not mezakeh, my shrine is mechayim. If you eat my shrine, it demands something. Someone who, all of us who have the schools to eat the shrine from the Rebbe, from the Alter Rebbe, it demands something. You know, there's a Haitz's format there, from the Bachayim, from the Avritsha, which always hit me when I saw it. This week's parasha. They tell Bahit, after 3 months, they tell that Zonza Tomer Kaloska the Gamhara was she's straight, no fidelity, no. So Yehuda says, so Vihi Shokal Chamir, she sends a message back to her Shver saying, Lipi, Mechi Senes, the Matter, the Tzil. Which Yehuda responds, she's right, I can give her Shayla. How do you understand this psukim? The story told, one day on Chanukah, you know, Chanukah, Seder in Yeshiva sometimes is a bit more lax. So after, because Meir, Bachman was sitting in the medrash, messing around, playing cards. Playing cards. Suddenly, he comes out of his Hegel culture, he goes over to one of the group of Bachman, goes to one Bacher and whispers something in his ears. The Bacher turns white, begins to shake like a leaf, immediately leaves, and he takes the Gemara and he starts hurling. Says, Chaver asked, what did the Rebbe, why did the Rebbe pick you out amongst the whole? There's many years, Sigid was. Erev Rosh Hashanah to the Mizaka themselves, the Mizaka over Yidden, the minute was you go Clyde Stokes. They take the city, divided strategically, and he was given on the outskirts of the city, and there was no time, to get back that night. They found a assignment for him, where he'd eat the Yontif, first night Rosh Hashanah, where he'd sleep, and early in the morning he'd come back to his Besmendrish for Tkiyas. That night, he was very tired. Abbas was sitting and living, he wasn't used to going around and collecting door to door, which is for those not used to it, in this world. The first night of Rosh Hashanah, he was so found after, so tired, he fell asleep. And he sat there and he slept. And after Ma'ariv, everyone went home, Bekidish, was Yom and he slept. Suddenly he wakes up, and there's which is dark. Can't see what's happening, right? And he doesn't know what. And he had a cholam. And in the cholam, he swore his neshama was being judged in Be'ez Shulmai, Rosh Hashanah. And they said, oh, this had finished. Give me the distance. Aveda, bingo, he's gone. Probably Moshe knows. In the cholam, he sees his Rebbe, the Kislev, coming into Be'ez Shulmai, and saying this is injustice. He takes a chayis. I'm Ori B'dar. Good is it? We put in a responsibility. Finished. Vayehi Kim Yishol Rosh Hashanah. 3 months come later. Comes Rosh Hashanah, everyone's mamish, think like it. After 3 weeks, they tell Yehuda, just change Givovki, that Zolza Tomer Galosa, Klal Yisrael is straight. Begam Horah was doing it. Oiba Zoi, get on the bus. So Tomer, Yisrael tells the industry, he shall hacken them, look deeper in the inner recesses of every Yid's soul. A Yid wants Kirvas Leikim, a Yid wants to have a different outlook, a Yid wants to rise above the mundane, the superficiality of the world. To which the Eibishter said, Sotkom Imeni, Ki Alkein, L'Satir, L'Sheila B'ni. Gerecht is just Yisrael, because the Eibishter didn't send Sheila. Sheila refers to Aki, Yavishila, V'likas Amin, refers to Mashiach. So you sit basically at a Farbrengen, and there's this Eirus, I want to tell you something, there's a great rabbi, I happened at the school, I knew him, Talmud Rebbe there, this role, right? Poshadi, Tzmimus to eat. He went, he lives in Montreal, he moved out of Israel, it's a very deep avoid. Here's the Bayit Began, and he became a Kusha of the base, Israel, the Rebbe, they would walk, this anti-tifus of it, and we would walk every Shabbos in the heat, in the snow, and the sleet, from Shalosh from bases, from Bayit Began, to Gul, to get Mahal for a young person. And on the way, in the older years, the Eget bosses, the Rahman started working on Shabbos. So he wouldn't stand for it. He would stop and try to encourage people not to go on the bus, Shabbos, Shalayim. And he got into conversations with people, etc., etc., etc. Every week, by the time he got to the Rebbe's Besmendrish, Shabbos. So his Einik, a friend with him, he asked him, Zayda, why are you Matriach every Shabbos to schlep all the way from Bayit Began by foot from Alta Zokins? To get to the base of this message. You don't get there at the end. You don't achieve your objective. You don't get to your destination by the time you're there. No one knows there. Told Rebbe said a million people. When Moshe Rabbeinu would say, "The Moshe Gakasohoyu, the not going to Chutz Lavachna, the Hoyu Kom Lavakish Hashem." Yetze went out of the camp. He went to Moshe. Rashi says, the Hoyu Kom Lavakish Hashem, they were going to Moshe. Why do they come Lavakish Hashem? Says Rashi, I'm really digging deep in Rashi. Mikan Shal Lavakish Pnei Zokim Ki Mekabel Pnei. It doesn't say Lavakish Pnei Zokim Ki Mavakish Pnei. Or Mekabel, Rashi say, HaMavakish Pnei Zokim. If a person has a bikush, a person has a shekifa, a person is yearning to be in the presence of tzaddikim, to be in the presence of a Rebbe, the bikush alein is the makabel b'nashim. Whether you get there or not, that's not the point. Where is your bikush? A person is judged by his shekifa. But where is his desire? So we sit out in the Kislev Farbrengen. We have the Rebbe in front of us, Rabbi Yoel, celebrating, always told the story. It was a young bocher, in Tel Aviv, in the old days. People didn't know as much as today. It was coming Rosh Hashanah, and he had to write a pan to the Rebbe. The Bachman had a clue. How do you write a pan? What's a pan? Who got one where? So the Mashpir of Cheryl Brook was teaching the Bachman how to write a pan in the Nefesh. Punkt Rebbe, the Bachman he couldn't make it. He missed that, whatever. He went to the Cheryl, the Mashpir. He missed it. Go to Zalman Moshe. Moshe was a celebrated chassid. I never had the privilege of knowing him. He was my Mashpir. And the foot of our was his. So Moshe comes into about 11:30 in the morning, and he said it's the first time in his life he's usually here at 11:30 a.m. still with towels and still his davenings. So his Merabbis didn't come back in an hour, and Moshe tells Yo, what do you want? I want to learn how to write a pan. The Mashpia, the child said to me, okay, just bring me a paper and a pen. Bring him a paper and a pen. He starts writing the letter Pei. Of the letter of the Rosh Hashanah on front pan, and he started crying his eyes out. And he couldn't regain his composure. So Jay come back in another hour. Came back in another hour, and the same scene repeated himself. It happened 3 times. And afterwards he said, I never learned from Dr. Moshe how to write a pan, but I understood it's something very, very profound. Standing in front of a Rebbe, giving a pidyon nefesh, is something, but see them relate that when the Rebbe was a young boy, he had an older brother, Razov, Zalman Aaron. And I don't know if they play Flappers, Cowboys, and Indians, but Lubavitch, a little shtetl, 2x2, with a little kid's play, Rebbe the Chassid, that's all they saw of, right? So the Razov would be the Rebbe, and the Rashab would be the Chassid, or by the Chayv, backwards. And eventually the Rebbe Rashab said, cut, this game is not for us. What a Rebbe is, we don't got a clue. There was an Ishbach, a chassid understands a Rebbe like a tzip versteht Levon, like a goat understands Levon. But Dalmi, besides that, we don't understand what a Rebbe is. But one thing I know, being a chassid is the shtick. It's not a game. It's something real. And therefore, before we even begin the Farbrengen, just to realize before whom we stand, what does it mean to sit in a Farbrengen? There's a famous Gemara about the Tziyat Apeivav, you all know the Gemara. Every 5-year-old school child knows the Gemara. Gemara says, Kamniflagate and the Sifted, the Rekia, there was a famous classical debate in the Celestial Cosmic Academy. That the Harris Clinton will say Alovam, Kuchabrichu says Torah, and the Sifted, the Rekia says Tomish. Whatever. Some arcane area in the walls of Torah. So the Gemara says, who's going to adjudicate? Who's going to be the decider in a machloikus between Kuchabrichu and the Sifted, the Rekia? Rabbi Bar Nachmani, he's the Poki in the good. He's the expert in it. So Rabbi Bar Nachmani was a refugee. He was running away from the government. And suddenly the question is posed to him, whilst he's on the run. And Rabbi Bar Nachmani says the word Torah, and it is pure neshama left. And a heavenly voice says, Ashrecha, Rabbi Bar Nachmani, that you are Ufcha Torah, V'arta Torah, V'yotz Nishmos Torah, you neshama left with the word Torah. Nofel Pisca, Mirakia Pumbedisa, a note fell down from heaven. Here, the Pumbedisa. Rabbi Bar Nachmani is back to the Yeshiva Shabbat. Rabbi Bar Nachmani has been called back to the Celestial Yeshiva. Nofel Abaye V'rov V'kul Rabbono, the Sukkah, Abaye, of all the great rabbis came to deal with it. You know where he was? Suddenly they see over the agam, over the swamp, the Sipora Halta, these birds, which are hovering round and around the same site, the Shmami Nahosim. Where can we find Rabbi? There. What's the shot? Say this for him. Rabbi Bar Nachmani, in the gallery of greats, from the great, he was one of the few Yechidim who were masters of the Shanim. The 50th grade of Oshad. I live at Meshabeni. He even come to Arvis Loya. Loya is Gematria 49. Only at the 50th level, Har Nevoyas, Al Rebbe says in the Kritik Nun Boy, Yardin Gerecha, Yardin is Yorad Nun. Meshabeni was mastering the 50th level. Ki lo Yerani HaOdom, Achai HaOdom, is Gematria 50. You can't be mastering the Sharanun. Rabbi Bar Nachmani understood this level, and therefore Talmidim could relate to him. Where is he? Once they see the Tzipor, birds, which refer to the Talmidim, hovering around that same place, chazering over his Torah, Shmami Lahosuduchte. Where do you find the Rabba the Umna, the Rebbe? Where do you find the Rebbe? Wherever. Can I tell you a story? You're not going to like it. It's going to be, you have to understand this. Many years ago, it was Cholmei Sukkis, if my memory serves me correctly, and the Rebbe stood up for Sikha. It was such a sharp Sikha. Incredibly sharp Sikha. And the Rebbe was like, sharp! And the Rebbe was Oishlos in the Oilam, that one stands in Tefillah. Tefillah is a moment when you're in communion with the Mashiach, with the Greater. And you're looking, say them, we're looking at the Rebbe. You should be communing with the Eibishter, right? Flesh and blood. With very sharp, temperate. So that night, Remendel put the Farbrengen. And in typical Remendel style, you know what the Rebbe was angry about? The problem is, as we cook with the Rebbe, we have also Rebbe. So I heard this, I was here, right? I heard Remendel. Remendel was, I had known him privately, I was very, very close to him. And I thought this sounds to me very, like, it's a cute play on the Rebbe's words, but that clearly was the Rebbe's come on, forget it. It's like you're being a wise guy, a smart aleck with the Rebbe's words. And I thought, I knew Remendel, what do you mean? Pshat is, what is that Rebbe? There's a famous story that was a Shvishal place, an Achad Pezach, the Friedrich Rebbe was Farbrengen. And because of his health, it was a very limited crowd. So Shmuel got out, and Shmuel Levitkin was coming down to relieve himself, whenever they go downstairs. And all the Chassidim, the Bachra, who couldn't get in, would sit up with this. And they tried to gnash people from the old Canaan, the Rabbanim, when they came down for a few minutes, what did the Rebbe talking about? So Shmuel was coming down, and Ram Paris was going up. And they met on the stairwell. And Ram Paris asked Shmuel, who is the Rebbe? Where is the Rebbe? So Shmuel said, he's upstairs. Hey, the Rebbe isn't, the Ram Paris said, the Rebbe is in the Zal downstairs. I just saw it. To which Ram Paris answered, upstairs you saw a boss of a dog. Who is the Rebbe? The answer is the nefesh from the Rebbe. He's there with the Bachar who are thirsty, who are the Vakish. Pnei. A Rebbe is not the Pshat on a Rebbe, when you think about Kasha to a Rebbe, closeness to a Rebbe, it's Pshat on a Rebbe, Siddhis, a Rebbe, Avodas Atfilah, a Rebbe, Bir Hamidus, all of these in Yonim, that Pshat is Kasha. And that's the Yonim that a Yid has to give oneself over at this period. Before you even begin to Farbrengen and deal with specifics, one has to have that simoing, that yearning, there's a Rashi is why the double expression. It refers to the Remes for the Beis HaMikdash and the Smashkin twice, they have the same Shel Yisrael. Which one of the great tzaddikim in Farbrengen asked an obvious glaring question. If the Churban is taking away of a mashkin is a pledge. To the Din Shulchan and Din Apostle. That a mashkin you can only take away for what? For limited time. The Apostle says, it's a person's life, his livelihood. You have only till the night when you have eternity. Why? Says the Apostle, that's his garment which he wears, which covers his nakedness. Right? But how could he slumber? Right? Without it. What? Say this format, I told us. All of this format. If the Beis HaMikdash is a mashkin, then how are we going to go this for 2,000 years? Why isn't the English that keep his own Torah? You have to give it back to mashkin right away? Immediately? Because it's your life. He never should have. And how could a Jew sleep if he doesn't have his mashkin? This mashkin of his ancient Israel. Then the oil, so he gets a lie, then the shamachik. They were sitting, and you should know, just their Haga, who were able to be Zeicha. I heard there was a label Kaplan had a father, Roshim Kaplan. I remember he told the community the nicer. There was a young chassid who was called up to Brazil to the draft in Russia. And in those days, it was like a death sentence. So he went for 2.5 days, like 14 journeys to it from Pilbach, the Rebbe Marash. And the Rebbe Marash said, don't worry, you, they're not going to take. You give him Tishrei, Marash was installed. He figured the Rebbe, will keep his words. Months are getting close by to the moment that he has to present himself in the draft board. And nothing is happening. There are no miracles, there are no angels swooping down from heaven. And finally, by here, he has to appear. You can't mess with this, right? And he thought that Rebbe Rash promised him, surely he'll... Nothing happened. The Rebbe let him down. So he has to go to Brazil, right? He's standing there, and he's waiting in line, and this kiddish, like nervous wreck. And he's waiting in the queue, and suddenly, for one thing, he looks back, and he sees the Rebbe Marash is standing there right behind him. Hello? This is after you give audition. The Rebbe Marash is no longer physically in the world, and he sees the Rebbe Marash mamish back of him. If that happened to you, you get the fright of the Lord in you, like he's quivering, he's shaking. He's out of his mind. And they have to go into the room, into the office, wait in a long queue. Which doctor he has to go? Which room? Right there, different deal. The back of his eye, he looks. Why does Marash standing there? He starts perspiring, he's schwitzing bullets. Then he goes to the doctor, right? His pulse is rapid, his heart is beating. The guy holds him, the organs don't bother. The doctor is screaming at the sick people. You send him to me? Out of here, don't dare come back to me. Then he understood the Rebbe was, that by him, he was there because the Rebbe was physically much so. There was a little parager once came to the Tzemach Tzedek, and the Tzemach Tzedek wasn't well, couldn't talk. So the little parager said, just have a Kabbalah, that the Rebbe could say a minor without articulating, verbalizing the words. He could say a minor with Machshava, with a Machshava. The Tzemach Tzedek heard it. He put on his shlapper that he said he was with, put on his gargle, and he sat there for half an hour. The Rebbe Rash was also present, and Rash was made, and afterwards, the little parish of those things. Hello? If I know how to do it, I'll get a better job. Well done. They were seeing who saw, they were seeing who picked up on a different wavelength. I don't know. But one thing I know is that these people are with us. With that itself should wake us up. Shanil and Ruj, we should be attached to something higher. I'll tell you one story. One of the great chassidim, the early chassidim of the Rebbe of the Yoshua, is called Yosef Kolbe. Very often brought to the feeling of the Sichos. Like a Kapuyim. Well, and the Yosef Kolbe was originally... He's what you call in today's politically correct climate, civically challenged. Right? Bitter opponent of Hashem. And he spoke openly in words that couldn't be said. He once heard, I've never heard him say such a expression. So the Rebbe said to him, you should know a Gili of the Baal Shem Tov is even greater than a Gili of Eliyahu. When Mishnah does, I can more Mefuresh. With Kolbe, Yishmai Kain is Kolbe, and shots on his fingertips instantly go, Gemara Mefuresh, yeah, Gemara Babatzia. Everyone knows the famous Gemara. That Eliyahu, I know they used to come every day to visit the Rebbe. One day he didn't go. And it was Megala, then it was Chodesh, Avram, then afterwards Yitzchak, and afterwards Gang David. Wanted to save time. He was busy in heaven, then it was B'Shem in heaven. Wanted to raise them together, that Ritzei HaGodel, Avram and Jacob together. Because they would ask for mercy, and Mashiach would come, the Gula would come prematurely, before the time. To which Rebbe asked, do Nation of the Gvasa, is there anyone alive today who has a lot of power in his davening? Yeah. Reb Chia Ubon. I was going to so now I was going to tell Reb Chia Ubon about now. And then I heard that Rebbe Veretzky was paying all these shoes on it. Anyway, Reb Chia Ubon. There was once a famine, there was a Tzirus Kishonim, the rain, and Rebbe brought Reb Chia Ubon of the Dalet Mashra Baruach, then it started raining. The wind started howling. Burn the Geshem, and it started raining. They were about to say Mechayim Eisim B'Rachim Rabim. And in heaven, they said, who was the one who was the earth winds to mankind? Eliyahu. They took 60 pulse in the Nura, flashes of fire, and he was Eliyahu, and they sent him down to stop completing the rest of the Chayim Eisim. I said, come on, I didn't make it up. Come on, trust me. Don't trust me. Look at yourself. You hear what I'm saying? So Eliyahu, I know he was the Galil Rozin, and he got Shushin Pulse in the Nura. The Hashem HaKadosh is the Galil, the ultimate, so the Emes HaKosik Maru, the Kutzum and the Zechel Kutzum. Well, forget, baby, was happy. So the Yosef Kolbe was, I don't know, says, I was getting fired. Oh, but you're only a third generation. You're not on top of Hashem, you're on top of the Magid, you're top. So that was also the Marmah Fresh. What we're talking about? There's a Shaklatari charge where the Nitzuk is the keyboard, it's not the keyboard. And we pass the Nitzuk is the keyboard. If something is floating, it's like it's attached, it's like A's touching me. And the Ruben means the Kaiser means the Purans. If a person is attached to that Nitzuk, that's the flow, that comes from Rabbi, from the Alter Rebbe, from Rabbi Seinu and the Zienu, he's mechuber to them. And the Ebershul health of that comes to you to Kislev, which is first and foremost a time to make achlota as harabarozo. I'm the small like your community in Manchester, and I heard such a chaim or more, and that's what I've done so much. Then if I get the community, I actually make life difficult for them. Yeah, they have an easy life. There's so much to take their stretch. There's like they're flowing with whatever. With scissors, with things. Now, don't have an easy life. Don't do it. Right? Oh, there's a time like that, and Rosa said, to engrave in our hearts and our minds the connection to the Alter Rebbe, the discussion to what it's really about.
Before we start the next video, we'd like to just there's a sale going on for Sifrei Chassidus right outside this door over here. It's going to be going on all night. It's unbelievable discounts. 50% discounts, and the prices are quite amazing. We have flyers on the tables. Please take a look at them, and sometime throughout the night, make your way over through the hallway and take a look at the Sfarim that you'll be saying.
After the Second World War, all the Chassidim who survived the war had moved and emigrated to the Asiatic part of Russia in the most unbelievable, difficult circumstances of deprivation. People went down like tender bones, and people were starving, there was typhoid, terrible machos. And you can imagine it was Simchas Torah, Tov Shin, Zayin Kinderman. People were starving, people were broken, they were penniless, people had lost families. But Chassidim being Chassidim, after Torah, one has to dance, one has to be freilich. And they completed all the Farbrengen, 7 Akofis. Great Simcha at the end of the Akofis. Everyone like in a bit of a drunken stupor, and perhaps one became too many. They sat down, they went to recuperate, to refresh their koiches. And suddenly, Reb Nissen was like the most respected elder, like the Chosid, celebrated Chosid, with the Hashem. He told Chevra, let's make one more rikut, one more dance. Link arms like a choo-choo train, and we'll dance to the Rebbe in New York. They looked at him as if he stark raising that. You know? They're in Samarkand, in the middle of nowhere, this forsaken place. The Rebbe is in New York, across a big ocean. We're going to make a choo-choo train and go to the Rebbe, like play games, build some kind of pantomime. But some of them seem to have Kabbalah's all, and they made the choo-choo train to the Rebbe, one final Hakata. And others just laughed sarcastically with cynicism. And Rabbi Kazliner, very celebrated Rosh Hashanah, he said an amazing observation. That right afterwards, there was an incredible window of opportunity given to Chassidim in Russia. In Lemberg, the Chassidim people have been claiming in full paper that their Polish citizens were allowed to emigrate from Russia. And every last one of the Chassidim who joined arms to make the choo-choo train to the Rebbe left Russia, like Gehenim on that year. And everyone who stayed behind with cynicism and calculated the grade didn't move. They all ended up there for another 20 years in the Gehenim, you know, the Soviet Union was. See, this Kislev is the time that the Rebbe gave us a promise that anyone who will be in my simchas of Rebbe, I will take him out. Min ha-meitzer el ha-merchel, or another girsa, Min ha-gashmius el ha-ruchnius, or a third girsa, Min ha-gehenim, and the Rebbe very often in Sichos explained, based on the Friedrich Rebbe Sichos, that these three expressions refer to three different levels. The lowest level is from Asiyah, which is Olam, Min ha-gehenim, which is Olam Asiyah. The next level takes us out from Olam ha-yetzirah to Olam ha-briyah, to Olam ha-briyah, to Olam ha-tzilus. When it gets on the Rebbe's train, when it gets attached to it. And the Chol Rosh, we attach ourselves to the importance of not only just the importance, the essential importance of nurses. I came across an interesting board. In the Drashas of the Chosayfer, it wasn't a Chosid, it was a Talmud. Great Mekubolim. And he writes in the Drashas of Rosh Hashanah, Pasuk says, Tilin, Ramallah, Kol Kvuda Bas Melech in Nilo, we mishmet Zoizov V'Lush. Says the Chosayfer that all of the Torah we know is a moshel. Everything in Torah Gosha has an equal and opposite corresponding counterpart in Ilma Nagash. So really, the world could be reckoned to be a moshel. You can use things in the world as a moshel for Torah. And the Torah Hasanikula is a moshel for something much higher, something called the moshel HaKadmoim. So therefore, the Davrat Elech, the Inzviris Yisrael could say that Torah is nechmod and yizov when we pass rough. There's a shaykhus between Torah Gosha and gold, but Torah is greater value. Right? Says the Sefer, that pasuk says, Kol kvuda bas, where is the real covet, the glory of Torah? Where's the essence of Torah? Dafka pnima. That's the Pnimius HaTorah. How do I know? The fact that Mishpat Zayzol is used as a comparison to go to error between Zov and Torah means that in English, Pnimius HaTorah, that's the Kloidish of Torah. That's the essence, that's the glory of Torah. And therefore, it's Farbrengen Taich, also be a car of a beautiful crack. The comma is in a place called Sluda Basnella Nima. Adam be a car of a Nimshal, then give a hand. A person, Adam be a car, V'lo Nimshal. A horror in Torah, the fellow knows Babli and Shalmi, go on to the group. Although he only knows the chitzonius of Torah, the English of the Torah, which I'm not chas v'sholem b'mayit the importance of Torah. Torah is full of Torah, Keim Chayenu. That's what we're here for. But if he only heard this in the nigla of Torah, without the pnimius of Torah, the trudish of Torah, the essence of Torah, he only knows the Mashal, then it's given Hamish to me. This is not important, it's not important. It says in the Bir HaGro, from the Vilna Gaon, of Mishlei, numerous places, but kind of the Tal, numerous places, a person doesn't learn, it's impossible to go to Kishmaisali, but Hilchasol, Takin Nimshul Kabay, the Tidru, cannot possibly have two albums. The Yira, the Chol Ketmer Torah, the Shmo, it's not personal observation, these are written by Rabbi Sayyid. I remember I learned what Torah does. Great persistence. And I had at the end of 4 years of persistence, I had a fork in the road, which way to go. So I decided to discuss it with Rosh Yeshiva, with all your shoulders at the time of the road. He told me a personal experience. He had gone from America to Kletz to learn. And once Ben Azman, and he was in Varsha, and he met Reb Shimon Shkop. Reb Shimon Shkop Yadua was the Skan Rosh Yeshiva in Lisbon. And they were talking. And Reb Shimon Shkop says, in theology, you could, theories are very easy. They say Jews have big noses because the air is free. Because they can go, what is the Eden HaBuichin? What is the test for survival? Because of Varsha and hundreds of books of Chassidus. At the end of the day, he was obvious, glaring. That Chassidus at the end of the day won the battle of the Yiddishkeit. What? Reb Shimon Shkop was saying. A person, therefore, has to put out Pnimius HaTorah Garish. Especially this one. And therefore, just for everybody, we learn Tanya. We start, it's Kislev marks the beginning of learning Tanya. And the famous story, I'm sure you all heard it, there was a big Rav in Elizabeth, New Jersey, called Rav Tanya. And he's very, very involved, famously, in activities of the Soviet Church. And every time he would go to Russia, on one of these clandestine trips, get a call from the Rebbe's Maskiros to deliver things. Fine, no problem. The Chaver, went to Varsha with a friend. Once he was going on a secret mission, and suddenly the Rebbe's secretary said to deliver whatever, and the Rebbe's secretary said he should bring 2 Tanyas with him. And it's a very famous story, and keep the Tanyas with him there at all times on his person. What, when, where? It doesn't mind bringing him Tefillin, Mezuzahs, but all of a sudden you become a Babincher, like, okay, please do that. And he's walking off to Petersburg, wherever. Someone grabs him from behind. They put a blindfold over his eyes and a gag over his mouth. And they stuff him in the boot of a car or something. And he gets, his heart begins to beat because, in Russia with the KGB. However, suddenly they take him out. After a long trip to an unknown destination, they take him out. They took up the blindfold, they take up the gag, and a group of students. And they wanted to Farbrengen with him, they wanted to hear what's in America, was like a silent meeting those days. They had no idea they were cut off. They couldn't just invite him because the painting gets buried. Put other lives in jeopardy. So instead, what they did, they blindfolded him. Okay. So what did they do? And they put him to the place. So he said, the Chassidim asked him, what is the connection to the Rebbe? I mean, Farbrengen, but you're a minor, a sikh, whatever. He said, the latest connection to the Rebbe is some unknown reason. The Rebbe sent 2 Tanyas with him. and told him to keep goes to Russia. They partial. Their faces lit up. And they asked him, did they see the Tanya? And they saw the Tanya, and suddenly they noticed the Rebbe had made on one page, which was after it, Kuf Samach Beis, the Rebbe made a little indentation in the Tanya. And the fellow who took this Tanya he was told that the KGB is looking for him. He would have to leave Moscow to go to a small shtet at Yavrazam. And he sees the opening line on the page that the Rebbe had dog ear, I think it's called in America. That the Rebbe had made a siman on, right? The Rebbe that said, it's pressing, he can't wait, you have to scrap, beat it. The second chassid took the second Tanya, and he was debating in his mind whether to apply again for a visa to go to Eretz Yisrael after having been rejected. And the Rebbe was reciting the Omud Lamed Ches in Tanya, starts the economic sports to enter into the promised land. And they start opening Ruach HaKodesh. But why am I telling you the stories about my own? I used to say, we're not interfering in itself. The pshat is that I'm a rabbi in a shul for my sins, right? And I would say, my shul is a very English shul. In England, most people who are not observant yet, right, but they're members of an Orthodox shul. So I deal with a lot of people who are very, very, very far from traditional observance. Put it this way. And I started a time this year, Shabbos morning, and there are a lot of very fine people who, I think it was a great scientist, Curie. She once said, we hate people because we don't know them, and we don't know them because we hate them. People are very scared of the unknown. And last year we made a seal on Sefer Shel Beidim after many years of learning. Week after week, I don't have anything exactly, just read the Harun. Chassidus explains on this line. Eventually we finished Sefer Shel years. And at the scene, one of the gentlemen stood up, a powerful lawyer in town. And he said, Rabbi, I must tell you the truth. When you started the shir, I attended out of respect. But I planned on going for a week or two, and then to tell you this is not me. But I had no idea. I thought this is totally beyond me. And he said, in the interim, he started learning. He went into the shir in order to, afterwards, to bail out. Suddenly he saw there's something fascinating here. Then he went online, whatever that may be, like a mouse or whatever. And he got in English, Rabbi Weinberg served Tanya, and then didn't sign it. And he said, learning Tanya, simple man, like a very powerful lawyer, very true, trustworthy person. Learning Tanya has saved my life. It's given me a different cook, a different perspective on everything in life. The famous story told many years ago. There was a Yid in Caracas, Venezuela, and he had the sole distribution rights for National Panasonic Electric. It was not a Lubavitcher per se, he was close to the Rebbe. Every time he would travel overseas, which quite often he would write to the Rebbe, settle, ask them for bracha so the trips would go up. One day he was traveling, he couldn't get his chiddush. The Rebbe's secretary suddenly tracked him down to Dumani, O'Hare Airport in Chicago. He's paged. He goes to the information booth. There's an urgent call for you. It's the Rebbe's secretary. I don't know why they tracked him down. They said, when you get to Japan, which is the central head office of Panasonic Electric, there'll be a package waiting for you. Can you do the Rebbe a favor and deliver the package? He gets here. Package is there. He opens it up. There are 2 tons. And he doesn't no address, nowhere to bring it to. He just keeps it on his person in the mind. He finished his official business. And in this city, I think it was Kobe in Japan, there happens to be a Jewish shul which was built in Chinese architecture. He thinks he has a day to kill before he goes back to practice. He goes visiting it, and he walks into the shul, and he sees a Yidel is sitting there, and he's crying his eyes out. And then he's with the emotion. Makara, what happened? The guy said, "You can help me, Lord, for a day with Isha. You can't share it with somebody. What's bothering me? You can't help me, nobody can help me, I'm doomed." What happened? Years he traveled himself. That's his parnos. That's his job. Travels from country to country, buying, selling, whatever traveling sells. He was on a plane, and at takeoff, the plane caught on fire, and there was a terrible, terrible tragedy, and there were many people on this aircraft who perished in front of his eyes. He Baruch Hashem was saying, the next day he gets on a plane, and suddenly all of the images and all the sounds, the shrieking, the people dying, the burning alive, was relived in his mind. He couldn't bear it. He had to get off the plane. And he's got the psychiatrist, the therapist. He can't fly anymore. And his boss said, I'm really sorry, but you can't be a traveling salesman if you can't travel. He's tried everything. Not a particular frumest of people, but the person, but not up at the gate. Someone said, right over there to the Rebbe. Okay, a drowning man clutches on straws, he wrote to the Rebbe. And the Rebbe sent him a Tanya, and the Rebbe told him a certain chapter of Tanya to learn during takeoff. And all of these flashbacks of trauma will be taken away. And for years, he's been traveling alone with his little Tanya and reading the appropriate chapter the Rebbe had told him. Baruch Hashem, he made a wonderful parnos. Suddenly he finds himself out of the middle of nowhere, Kobe, Japan. And somehow he misplaced his Tanya. And he went to the airport to get on the plane. And the flashback suddenly came back. And he had to get off. And he's going out of his mind. He's stuck here in the matrix. With a church. And this Yidel from Caracas takes that from his attaché case. Here's the Tanya, the Rebbe has forgotten you, for l'chayim. And the story is like an omen on our generation. There's all kinds of ruchas hamanashis, all kinds of winds that are blowing. We're living in the most difficult times. There's a word that I hate to say this. So Lezer Ratzvik, Hashem Kabbalah once said, the Kabbalah from his father, who was a Shia, 95% of Torah mitzvahs will be in the hands of the Samach. Here? We're not talking about this friar people who don't know anything. This is right? The Shul Belzer said, in this generation, that kicking up like a bench. You ever tried to walk up horizontal wall? Very different. True endless of pneumias. The Hashem said before Mashiach, the sheker will be chayin, heaven will be yoifi, everything is upside down. The Vilna called it a generation of shitchis, superficiality. I remember I was a kid, I grew up in New York, I'm not really English structure. And I remember when I was a kid, growing up in New York, here on Cholamoy, there was a place called, doesn't exist anything, it's all of Ashnavel, called Palisades the Music Block. Anyone remember? No. Veretzky, my friend. The Cholamoy always went, today you go to the zoo, I have a literacy stuff. In my days, we went to Palisades the Music Block. So I remember I was a little kid, I don't want to be offensive to anyone, little kid. And I watched, there was a Syrian guy with a with a strammel, I would think they couldn't. And his daughter was on the merry-go-round. A little girl, and she got a bit nervous, started crying, and she scared me all alone. And the father said, I'll go on with her, the whole horsey, before the carousel goes around, with lights start flashing and the music goes down. And then you could see like the bubble on top of this guy's head. He felt a bit inappropriate to be walking on the horsey on the carousel on the merry-go-round, ring a strong. It doesn't fit. So he took it off. But then he realized that the merry-go-round will start, you gotta hold on. So he took his triangle and he put on those. And suddenly the music started playing, and I'm watching the scene of this horse with the strong going around, and I'm just watching. And I made a little impression upon it. It's a generation of terrible chitzonius. Chassidus is all learning. Chassidus is all about pneumis. Learning Chassidus is all about having. I was, you know what a mullah is really? The Ikar of the Munah, the Chassidish Pshat, the Dr. Dinarot. V'hoyo kashiyorim Moshe's yodin v'govar Yisrael. So Chazal say, v'chiyodin so Moshe is Muhammad, is Muhammad. Eloy Malach, Olman, Yisrael, Mistakim, Kapimel, everyone knows the mission. What's it got? The Eibishter's name is what? Veretzky, Yud Kei Vav Kei. Right? This is Hoyo. What's the equal one of these three beginners? On Pesach, I have 3 matzahs. Amunah in the past, Amunah in the present, Amunah in the future. Which matzah do we break? Which matzah we use for Yachas, for Tikkun Yis Mitzrayim? Which is the real Lechem Oni? The middle matzah. When Moshe removes the Yud from the Shem Havayim, and you're left with the word Oyva, I always say every year, I say that. Beautiful shot. I always say, in Nagada we say, we say, the Chassidish Pshat, remember the Yisrael says, after you die, you go to Hashem, you go with him. Says Rashi, Makira, you see, Yisrael was a monotheist from way back when, a believer. After you die, says Rashi, Makira, you see, the Sha'ova, Ba'achshav. As a guy, I believe there's a Mashefer, there's a creator. Oh, but where is this creator? Over in the past. The Eibishter created the world, and then he's working on some other project in a different dimension. He's taking the receiver of hope. Or someday, the Iker Emunah is to live with Emunah in the Hoyv. That's Pshat. The Aksha, now that the Rebbe had one word that he added, many words that he added into the lexicon of Pal Yisrael. One of his now. Not Amunah in the past or Amunah in the future, but Amunah in the present. That's the sentence for it. If your whole Yiddishkeit is something of the past, that's a symbol of the Oiv Ne'avitzorah. But now, it's alive, it's here and now. That's why the Zman HaGolos, we say, Ki Yad Al Kis Yudke. Hashem's name is only from the Yud and the K, from which you can make Choyo, you can make Yid. You can't make Choyo. Which is the reason for Mashiach, which is also for Chanukah famously, Mashiach, which is Galish, which is Chanukah, is Gimatri Hashem Melech Hashem Malach Hashem. Mashiach comes when Emunah is something in the present. When you live with, how does one develop Emunah? How you mafarnas? How do you sustain Emunah? There's only one way known to mankind, and that's the Siddur. Siddur gives a person a different perspective on life. How should I tell you? If you live a superficial existence, you relate to the cursory. If you learn Pnimiyas HaTorah, you're able to relate into yourselves, into it. I'll give you a story. Happened here in Borough. I don't know if you've heard this story. I heard it mentioned. It was a funeral home somewhere in Borough. And then someone passed away. And then there's a Shmir, coming on this. So this fellow was up a whole night making shmir. You know, in the morning he had to drive the hearse, the funeral car, to the Beis, which is the Jersey. My kids are after the whole thing, making a whole night of shmir, and driving the hearse, and participating in the mikvura, digging, whatever. The guy was so tired. So on the way back, the guy tells his chaver Beryl, you get behind the wheels, and I'll go to the back of the funeral car, the hearse, I'll have a dremel, I'll have a shlaf, I'm tired. Pumped to his mazel, it was a very chilly day. So he took the black shmati, he put the chman wasad of the orange, and he he's snoring, everything's going. So Beryl was behind the wheel, driving, and Shmerel and Yanko is schluffing, puffing, right? Everything was wonderful until they came to the toll booth of the George Washington Bridge. Beryl rolled down the window, he opened up his wallet, and he realized he didn't carry cash because he's not the usual driver. So this poor toll booth attendant, with his eyeballs bulging out of his eye sockets, sees the scene, the Beryl turns around, says, Yanko, I got Vinova, and over a $5. I don't know, whatever it is. And from the back of the funeral car, from under the black shmata, you see this hag coming out with $10. The guy saw it and he just ran away. He had a shira on the nervous breakdown on the spot. He's out of it. He couldn't believe what he did. That's what happens when you look at the world with prejudice. You don't have the facts. You don't understand those things. Siddur is there to give a person a deeper perspective. I always tell them, I remember as a book in 770, the big road, the name of the Flame Aaron Kazanos, Yaki was not a condition, at my grandparents' house. You can imagine how old he was. He always told the story that when he first came to America, he was collecting money from yeshivas in Russia. And there was the Kramer brothers, very well-known family, the annals of Chabad in America. And they had like one of the highest, on the top of their office was like top of the Woolworth building, which at the time was the first skyscraper in the world. And the shtetl that he came by, you know, the biggest house, like a double-story house, like a, wow, right? And somebody imagine if you're, I don't ever been to the top of the World Trade Center or whatever that, or table, if you look down, what do you see? Suddenly, you know, you have a Zaptai, and I got a Zaptai, and some Shmer in Paris, giving him my price, I mean, it's $20. And you have that car, and you got a Lexus, and the place on the dashboard, you have a microwave oven, you do your toast in the morning, whatever, all the Shmer, right? These little things. I once remember as a little kid, I once saw a quotable quote. Superior people are involved with ideas, mediocre people are involved with things, talk about things, and inferior people think about other people. But other people don't think, objects, right? So it all makes such a big difference. But if you pick yourself up and you're 100 stories above, you look down, it all fades into utter insignificance. You know what I'm saying? What does sin do? It picks you up, and you look at yourself, and you look at the world from a total. In the ocean, by the Alter Rebbe, there was a concept called laser, the krum. Why would they call the krum of the crooked one? We want to explain by Farbrengen. A person naturally, according to the laws of physics, if I remember physics 101, you can see on a clear day maybe 20 miles, and then the laws of physics say the illusion is given as if the horizon suddenly bends. If you're on top of a lofty mountain, you can see 50 miles and then it bends. By you is krum and mirrors of flesh. A person who is looking at things from a loftier perspective sees things that another person is krum, he can't get his head around, doesn't understand it. But if you give him this new light, this Kislev is the the chayes, nafshein, and nitzin, you're able to look at the world. Let me just leave you with one story at the moment, which brings out this Mr. One of the great, earliest mashpiyim that his beer was Rabbi Shir was called Green. And the Greiner once told the Rebbe Nishmas and the Rebbe Nishmas enjoyed it. He like really laughed on it. The Kosher Zamagi, one of the great tzaddikim, the Magi, the top of the Rebbe, when it's about to leave this world, the Gashmites, he called over his son, Rabbi Yishua, his successor, and he said, like many tzaddikim, the Rebbe, the Rebbe, said it. He has no connection anymore to Gashmis or Olam. All he sees is the Varashem, which is the Chayim of the world, right? And he says he has no longer any shaykh that feels that the Gashmis, the Chumri, the core physical, the mundane. So his son Rabbi Yishua took his father's holy hand, got his Magid, and he said, Tate, I feel good. I feel a physical, human, corporeal, material body. To which the Kodesh of Magid responded, it's incredibly, we'll talk about it a bit later, an incredibly profound voice. As you taps with guf, feels to guf. As you taps with the neshama, feels to neshama. If you touch something, you feel. The mechanism of feeling, of your sense, the sensory is through the physical. And what do you feel? What do you relate to? The physical. As you taps with the neshama, if you use your neshama to feel, to sense, then you take a feel neshama. What does Chassidus do? It lets us, the Chassidus is called the Shmasa D'Oraisa, the neshama of Torah itself. So the Chassidus is really the higher level of the neshama. It gives a yid the ability that when he looks at the world, when he feels the world, that kapnik neshama. And the Eibush of the Alphabet that we should be zayich that it gives us the time to strengthen our resolve. That this coming year there should be a ribuy and echus and kamlas, both in quantity and quality. Today I'm going to tell you this. So that the world of Tzidus Chabad, two things. On one hand, I pretty much have my finger on the pulse from different places in the world. The world, every chul today in the world, regardless of what, I don't care what kind of yarmulke or what kind of hat you wear or whatever, right? the Pneumius ends, people standing right before Mashiach, the Mullah, or a Deus, Hashem Kamayim Yom HaChasim. The world is Sunday. There's a yearning, a thirsting, a longing. People are begging to hear Chassidus. In different emotions. The word of Chassidus is out there. People are really, people who know the truth especially, are wanting to hear Chassidus. People are kalim to Chassidus today. And there's so much today which is available, which takes the deepest of deep, and it translates as an usius that we can understand. English helps that we tap into it also. Chaim Chaim. The middle of Rebbe, I haven't seen this in the Sichos of Rebbe, but Kislev Sidim wrote. Middle of Rebbe once said a murder before, which anyone has to understand. Deep word. The middle of Rebbe said that it says Vatiga v'roish hasharvit, says in Zoya, Dorashvi. When Esther Hamalk, Queen Esther, went to the king, an incredible sacrifice, risking her life. And a miracle occurred, as Chazal explained, that led to the Medrash tomorrow. And her head reached the top of the scepter, the Sharvit HaMelech, which is Melech, Melucha, works through his Sharvit, through his scepter. Says Chazal and Zohar HaKodesh Dorash, right? He was Magia Berush HaSharvit. Aber die Tasche zugenommen die ganze Zeit. It's like a deep, profound word. The top of the Sharvit. My father, the Alter Rebbe, took the entire scepter. That's an incredible. Parenthetically, it's also related. There was the Middle Rebbe called over of Eisel Homber. And he said, Freike, Alter Rebbe's daughter, his sister, had a dream last night, a short dream of Ratif. But a very deep dream. After Chabdalatages, or after the Staltus of Alter Rebbe, and she dreamt she saw the Alter Rebbe, and she was shocked because he was bathed, he was enclosed, encompassed in light, in incredible, awesome light. And the Alter Rebbe in the dream asked Freike, who was a Balostas, very next to Haggash, to do an story. Why are you so disposed? Why are you so moved and you're so emotional? By there's even a greater life. The Chassidus said the story is amazing. This Rav Shimon is for 2,000 years, right? He's just come. There's no Rav Shimon is going to be. It's either again the connection. But what does it mean? Rashbi was the Rosh Hashanah, and the Alter Rebbe took the whole shot. Pshat is, I said before, the word of the Alter Rebbe, that some of those Mishnah, the Alter Rebbe promises was taken out in a Migdal HaMercha, in a Gashmi Zalaruchnis, in a Geherit. The Rebbe wants to explain what's the flaw. What's the flaw of this one? And it says, the Alter Rebbe says the Chiddush is that one can be alive. He, Chaf Aleph, I think. The Mora de Asra of Chabad, of Shnei Yadrov, came to the Rebbe Kislev. So the Rebbe told him between Sichos, the Rebbe told Shnei to say l'chaim rakis molin, a full glass, right? And he came over to the Rebbe, and discussing something, and he was saying something of Chesor in Chabad, something wrong with him. To which the Rebbe The Rebbe said to state it up, why do you have to look at the situation Milra? Look at it Noel. And the Rebbe then explained to him that the Torah, grammar and difference when you put the stress on the word, whether it's Milra or Noel, how you pronounce Lashon HaKodesh. So the Rebbe explains that Milra is Mil Matzah, and Mil El, as it literally means, Mil Mayel. So the Rebbe was telling, it reminds me of Ben Gurion, who was the Prime Minister of the State of Israel. After the 6-Day War, he met the Palavicharov, and for some reason, I don't know why, I think the Palavicharov had a sprach with Ben Gurion. A funny, whatever. So if you remember, before the 6-Day War, the borders of Israel were very narrow, called the Auschwitz border. It was like a few kilometers from the Arab villages or into the Mediterranean. After the 6th War, there were massive developments from Jordan. So Ben Gurion, who was not renowned for his sagacity or quiet, right? Told the Palavicharov, now we have bitachon, security. To which the Palavicharov smiled and said, yes, except by you, the Freie, you have a bitachon. By us, from Elohim, we have bitachon. The difference with bitachon or bitachon is one is Mil El and one is Ura. Are you with me? Where is the source of your bitachon? Is it going to be you have bitachon? Is it the Rabbein Shalom, then it's bitachon? You got my drift? But the Rebbe, and that's what the Rebbe was telling us later on. Why look at things Milra when you look at things Mil El? Why look at the Welt from a Mekushim, what happens with Guf when you get tapped with the shot? And that's the shot. I'm really considering the Rebbe. The Rebbe comments on the letter of the Rebbe Shlosi, which is Kislev. Zayin Tchilas Masech, Rashleim Masech Amanitis, the Brias Adam Alei Ores, Havshak Gili Previous to the State of Arbation. This is the day of Hashem, right? The day of the day when our, they're explained over the years, every sikhs, what it means, and it's full of sikhs. The Rebbe just 1 year, the Rebbe spoke about the heat, with the our vitality, our life force, the illumination, the radiance, which Chassidus brings, the he terrorist of Hashem. So the Rebbe was the day. The Rebbe was like, master of deep. The he, this light, this vitality, this chayah, this illumination, this radiance, he turn. Why the double expression of he turn? The Rebbe said, everyone knows that with Kodshin, it's in with Karbonis, ritual, temple rites. There's a law of Shina, Allah Akosov V'Akim. If the Torah says something once, an imperative, a command, it's loud enough, you have to be. Shino, if I repeats it twice, then you know it's the kuf, even with the other has to be done. While in the rest of Torah, if the Torah says something once, it's already a chiyuv. The Rebbe said that the common sense, from Riyat, I would have learned just the opposite. Right? Kachin is holier, more sublime, more exalted. There, everything has to be written twice. In other areas of the so the Rebbe explained Pashto. Very, very simple. To take something which is choy, which is seems to be divorced from other groups. One day, faint, and to turn it into Kachim, the highest of high, to be mamshach alikus into something, and permanently change the basic, fundamental character of an object, is not something which is logical, which is rational, which makes sense. It's not something which is in the normal ability of a person. So I could say, if you could do it, you could pull it off. Look around at the end of the world. It's normally beyond the person's own ability. Yes. Therefore, Shina, Olav, Akosov, Aki, the Torah has to be Kochim, which is something illogical, higher than one. There, the Torah has to repeat it over and over, a second time. And the fourth that I said was the whole. The essence of Siddhis is to take Welt and to make it into something kosher. Make it into something. In fact, the middle of Rebbe writes in Teres Chaim, the Baal Shem Tov davened numerous tefillos, and fasted numerous tanesim, in order to be able to answer a query of a questioner in the midst of his aliyah samishal. When his soul is roaming in Shmei Morim, the highest of celestial chambers, Hashem had asked the Mishnah for this ability that simultaneously, at the very same moment, when a person is coming to him to ask his query in his business matters, in his personal matters, the thing is connected to Ilam Hamza, he should be able to answer. Why? Because that's what Siddur is. Siddur is to be on the highest of high, and to be able to translate it into something tangible down here. All of Siddur is going on this dichotomy, this paradox. Time to start talking, I'll have something to mind with it. Mashpiyim Oisoy, we administer to an oath, to the Neshama before it's born. The tzaddik. What do you mean be a tzaddik? To interpretation. A tzaddik abitanya means someone who's not only up in his machshava, changes basic character. As Al Rebbe says elsewhere in Perek Chavtes, his guf and his neshama become one. One is an extension of the other. Seamless connection. Hello? Of which we say that tzaddik is like one or two in a generation. For an ordinary Jew, what's that mashviyah or you tzaddik? Like in the colloquial definition of a tzaddik. Someone gets it right most of the time. So what's his pshat? Now then it's the Paldo B'Sholim Nafshi. What's the Paldo B'Sholim? On one hand, for tzaddikim, it's the avodah of Sholim. I feel the chen of Sholim. There's no war, no strife, no discord. Malach Ra answers only of his own will. For an ordinary person, it's only different chat for the B'Sholim. Siddur said B'Sholim is called to Ma'ar Chazal. If you personally learn Oizik B'Teira, Oizik B'Chosodim, U'B'Spalim Atzibut. Siddur bridges this dichotomy, this paradox of two opposites, because that is the purpose of Siddur, the highest of high. If the Rebbe once said, Gimel, and Farbrengen, the Rebbe once said, we all know that the last day, Kislev, the Rebbe was free, was liberated, Mincha time. And that day, Kislev, which by the way, Siddur always states, the Rebbe himself, in himself, vis-a-vis himself, didn't suffer. What does the Rebbe mean? Where would he go? Right? On the contrary, he had all that he knew. Hashem Yeshua, Siddur Yeshua. In and of himself, he didn't need any Yeshua, he didn't need this Kislev. But the last day in Tfisa was the Hoyubin day, and that's the day with Al-Rebbe, the Sor, the Hawkins, all three tefillas, he davened together with his Rebbe, the Magid, and his Rebbe, the Moshe. And everyone knows that Al-Rebbe asked them, why is this kippur? Why is it happening to him? And they told him, because you're spreading sin very clearly, unequivocally, the ordinary people can understand. Al-Rebbe said, stop this, on the contrary, that Al-Rebbe should basically understood. But yes, it's ace of yes. On a greater degree. And when the Rebbe Rashab heard that the Friedrich Rebbe, and he was so son of the Friedrich Rebbe, of the Rebbe Rashab, was going to Petersburg, and was going to see the cell, the prison cell, that Al-Rebbe was in, right? To see if there's enough place for three people to be in the cell at the same time. With an Indian, a deal that this wasn't a vision, this wasn't some kind of out-of-body experience, some dream, some nocturnal whatever. This is the gashmius in the world, in this world. And the Rebbe was medayik. Why did this happen? Can I just explain this? People don't really think the story of Kislev. The fact that the Magi came down, the Kufa, the gashmius, after he was no longer physically in the world. In the prison cell, big deal. You know, the story told that everyone told that that the Rebbe was the Meshoris. I'll tell you the story anyway, by the way. The Rebbe was the Meshoris of the Magid, Yedua. And once the Magid on Sukkah is told, the Rebbe, like, keep your nerves or whatever, they're going into the Sukkah. They walked into the Sukkah, and it was in the year Tav Kuf Chav Zayin, 7 years after the Talmud of Hashem Tov, and they saw the Hashem Tov in the Sukkah. And parenthetically, the Rebbe was, the Rebbe asked, why did the Friedrich Rebbe have to say that he was the Meshoris? How long was the Magid? How long was your Rebbe? No, see, 13 years. How long was the Alter Rebbe by the Magid? 32 months. So how can you say someone's only there 32 months, which is 2.5 years? was the Meshoris of the Maggid, who was a Nossi for 13 years. This is the Alter Rebbe explained in the Farbrengen, that since where the Alter Rebbe, wherever he went on a shlichus. And the Rebbe said a famous Kislev, wherever the shliach goes, there you find down the beer, the Atzmius of the Shaleach, the one who sent it there. So wherever the Alter Rebbe went, he had the Maggid with him and his Rebbe with him. And that's another shlichus. But why was there a deal that the Maggid had, what is that flaw? What's awesome with the Maggid? I'll tell you a story. The Maggid had one son. Everyone knows? One son. It was the Alter Rebbe's coming to the mountain. Kodesh. Ukishmoikeinu, as the name indicates, he was a person who was not very much the Malach. You know? Malachim, whatever. At least the Malachim that I meet regularly are, they're not in the world. They're just out of the world. Right? That's why the Malach didn't become the successor, because you can't have a Rebbe who's a Malach. A Rebbe who's a man. Anyway, to cut a long story short, the Malach was the Ben Yochid. The Chavivus, how cherished and how beloved he was to the Maggid, was English. He was once, after the passing of the Maggid, he was on the river Dnieper in Russia, the main river, and his boat capsized, and he was about to drown. And the father, the Maggid, came down from Shvei, and he saved his life. And afterwards, he revealed himself to the Malach, to the Malach, and he said, if I would have remembered the odious stench of this world, I would have never agreed to come down and see. Only child, the apple of your eye, right? A person is the Chamalach. But apparently the Maggid had, that Yutis Kislev Tovkuf Lamed Gimel, when the Maggid passed away from this world, so you say Kaddish, after the burial, meaning old food, you say Kaddish, yes? Hello? You know the Malach started saying Yizkadol Verabba for his father, and he stopped in the middle, and the whole year, even my shul was Pasha, right? Everyone keeps those favorites. No? More or less. I once said to Mashkiach was there for thousands on the Zoom side, and once said, why couldn't the Shulchan Aruch, Shem Daled Mem, and the other day it says, someone who doesn't keep the laws of Avelis is not sorry. It's cruel. This is not cruel with Yerushalayim. Not to keep laws of Avelis for a takta, for a mountain. It's not sorry, it's cruel. And he needs the Tev is not Achsa. He needs Rachmana V'Shalom right? So every Poshet Shem Chutim, for a father who is a mother of Poshet Shem Chutim, they say Kaddish. The Malach didn't say Kaddish before he started saying Kaddish. He stopped. Why? Because he was a man who had the hearing shield here, the heavens are open, and he saw when you say Kaddish for Rishoyim, it helps them forget it, pulls the fire in. For Tzaddikim, puts you higher and higher and higher. The Maggid took the express elevator right after Timus HaGoyim, and he immediately reached through the first few lines of Kaddish and Madrega that no human intervention could help him reach it. There was no point to take out. It was a futile exercise. Hello? That's how removed he was from this one. One of the great Polish rabbis, the Rebbe of the terrible Gzeira against people in that part of the world. And he journeyed to Anapolo, to the cave, to the Tzion of the Maggid, to David, to the Mattel of Gzeira. And he came back empty-handed. It's reported from his Eidebach. I thought the Rosh Hashanah, the Rebbe. He said, the Rebbe asked the Maggid, why wasn't he successful? So he said, he's now perched in Gan Eden on such a lofty, exalted place, he can't see everything that the Abishah does ultimately is for good, right? Where he is in Gan Eden on such a lofty level, right? He can't be Mavatam the Gzeira because he doesn't see the pain of the Gzeira, he's totally removed from him. Detached from it. Maggid reached the highest of levels. For him to come down into this world with its odor, with its filth, he couldn't bear it. Even to save his only son's life. That to tell the Alter Rebbe to spread, that the Maggid did come down from straight water. He did not flow from the story. Why do you have to be Dafkin the Shem of the Goof? Because that's the Rebbe said in the Farbrengen, that's what Siddhis Chabad is. To to bring things in the world in a tangible way down here. I'll leave you with the story before. I tell the story all the time. I love the story. The Rebbe used to always do Torah many, many years. The Rebbe taught in the Torah was even a moment, a Farbrengen, till midnight. Then an hour later, it was upstairs, then it would come down. After Eisa would start like 1 o'clock in the morning, dancing, singing. And then, the years before I came, the Rebbe to eat Sudas Yosef with a small elite group of Zikri Anash, Rabbanim, etc. And then the Rebbe for many years would come down and he would teach a new thing. A new tune. Unknown to the Rebbe. Most people didn't. Then the Rebbe would distribute mashkir to anyone who's makabel himself to make a soft and So one of the nigunim the Rebbe taught, very beautiful, haunting, Chabad type reading, right? With animals. The thirsting of your soul to know the secrets, the innermost mystical secrets of the Mishnah. Right? The Rebbe taught the niggun like that. And the Rebbe explained this niggun where it come from. There was a yid after the Ilah, Dav Ma'ariv, right? Usually in most there's automatically a stampede, like buffalo. You hear the shofar, bingo, everyone's out. Right? So they haven't eaten for 26 hours, anybody. Right? One yid after the Ilah, after Ma'ariv with Yom Kodesh, he sat down on a benkel and he started like Veretzky. He was cleaving to something higher, something deeper, something more, whatever. And he composed in his mind this beautiful home of Adam's readers, the Shir of Ered, the pining, the yearning of the Neshama to reach above the here and now of the mundane. And when the people came in the morning to this measure, they saw this evil was still sitting there. That's the Rebbe introduced me. But after, that was simple failure, after Tishrei, all the guests who came, the Orachim going back. So the Yid called Reuven Dun. I don't know if most of the people here don't. No, they're very sharp, shrewd. What? There it is. They're not distracted. Okay, yeah, whatever. There's a salt, sharp kibbutznik, right? Who had a tongue like a razor. I can't say in public even some of this incredible witticism that he came up with. It's very sharp. He mastered up the tshuva. Someone would give off his shirt off his back. They never loved him. And because they had a very unique relationship, he was able to talk to the Rebbe and Isis, and a normal chassid wouldn't dare his nightmares to speak that way. So when he went to the Yechidus, afterwards, he asked the Rebbe, that, Chassidim, or Malach Hashem, Chassidim whispering, that who is this person who sat all night Fatvekit, but so Yom Kippur, it must be the Rebbe, who else could it be? So the Rebbe was like laughing and vacuum, just wild. That story happened before Chassidim. How do you know? Where do you know it happened before Chassidim? So let's not tell you the whole story. They were told privately the story, they didn't say publicly. There was once a Yid who was a Gevir, right? And was a wealthy man, incredibly wealthy. And he spent his wealth, his unique wealth, his mitzvah of his unique, his distinctive mitzvah which he adopted was redeeming captives. In the old days, the Jews fell into financial difficulties, owed debts, they throw you into prison. This Russian dungeon of the spirit. A Yid was owed the money to the pirates, rent for his crèche or whatever. The pirates, and he would go from village to village, from hamlet to hamlet, to redeem captives. That was his debt. Spent a fortune. One day, he goes to a place, and the poet there, this rich Russian nobleman, his hatred of Jews was greater than his lust for money. And the guy was in jail. How much does he owe? 1,000 rubles, right? He won't redeem him unless you give me 200,000 rubles. Mamish Bahagzola was totally out of this world when he demanded. And he thought, no, we'll get it in the Jew will perish. This guy hated Torah. It bothered him to leave the Jew to languish in this dungeon, right? He went home, called in his accountants, his actuaries, if I sell all my factories and my land and my real estate, my whatever, and convert all of my assets into cash, how much money can I realize? 200,000 rubles. Pull to the company the amount of money that he needs to redeem the Jew. He's an oisher, a multi-zillionaire. without batting an eyelash, he liquidated all of his assets, all of his factories, his businesses, all of his concerns, put the cash in hand, went back to the forest, money on the table, okay, deal's a deal. He wanted to deal, he can't deny it. He went to get the key to open up the dungeon, to release the Jew. And when he found to open up the dungeon, the Jew had already perished from the starvation, the deprivation. And the guy, start, the corpse, get down there. It's a great mitzvah to bring a Jew to Kever Yisrael, but not on that or that, and he gave away his whole fortune. Took the body, buried it, but hated it, it bothered this philanthropist, this benefactor. All of now he's reduced to pay poverty, and he didn't even fulfill the mitzvah of Pidyon Shluchim. And he went to bed with tears that night. And that night he had a cholov, dream, and in heaven with Megiddo, you have a choice. Either the Eibusher will pay back to the penny, every penny that you laid out for our Pidyon Shluchim, you'll get it all back, and once again you'll go back to your state wealth, or you remain an oni ve'evi until the day you die, but the Eibusher will reward you with a long chotir d'chayach. You know what I mean? You will shir Gan Eden, you will live, you will experience the bliss, the joys, the unimaginable, indescribable delights of Gan Eden in this world of life which is your choice. You're called to me. Said, Geld, I know what it is already. Greatly overrated. Someone said, if you want to know what God thinks about money, look at the kind of people he gives it to, right? So anyway, so he said, forget about the money, I'll take what? Gan Eden. I love to put in this world. And that's what he got, that's what he chose. And it was El, from Shuli El, and he starts all of a sudden working with the Avodah, Slichas, Rashonda, the Tshuva. The HaKadosh, he comes to Mamash by Ye'ilah, Hashem Oleikim, it's like his neshama is bursting, and he feels suddenly this awesome, indescribable tzimoy, yearning for Alikus, for Tzveikus, right? And that's when he sat on the Beinel with Yom Kippur, and he made the tune to the words, Chomdo, B'Selgetecho, Das Koros. That's the story. So Rabbi Durim said, how does one know from the story this was before right? He said, if you would have asked the Rebbe, or Shemta, whatever Rebbe, the Rebbe would have told him, forget about it, I love to do it. Had them the geld. Because I love to do the Chayach with all the Gan Edens in the world, you can't do a mitzvah. Where does the Eibusher have nachas? Where does he have kailudim from? From the geld, from taking your money, from taking your time, from taking your blood, sweat, and tears, and sacrificing for nothing. Malachim, the Eibusher has a diamond dozen in the world. Eibusher needs people. That's shot. The person has the perspective of citizens. The tops of the shama, you feel the douche in the world. The chayim.
I speak to Rabbi Muntz, please. Rabbi Muntz here.
We're going to do benching right now, and right after benching, that's right, Rabbi Moss?
Yes, for another
We're going to do benching and stay around right after benching. We're going to continue the Farbrengen right at the table. So once again, we'll do Rakum right now over here.
I don't want your money. I want to Rabbi Muntz here.
Sorry. Shira Malis, benching, not money.
You do me a favor. I can't find Rabbi Muntz. He's the goblin.
Rabbi who?
He's not here.
My name is Menachem Schwein. Rabbi Mahler was my second grade Rebbe in Yeshiva. I just wanted to make an announcement that I'm an alumni from the Barbage in 1959.
I say that you should say it.
I can't say it. I'm like,
I have a special announcement. We have an alumni right here from the Lubavitcher Yeshivas, right standing over here. If anyone wants to meet him,
Menachem Mendel Schreiber, Sam Service Einikel.
Menachem
Mendel Schreiber.
Menachem Mendel Schreiber, right over
Rabbi
here.
Mahler was my second grade
And right now we're going to have benching without any further interruptions.
Rabbi Mahler was my second grade Rebbe. It's important. You should say that. Rabbi Mahler was my second grade All right, no problem. We got the message. Thank you. Appreciate it. But you didn't say Rabbi Mahler was my second grade Rebbe. Okay, after. He was a big tzaddik. You know that. As long as you know.
I see. I know it very well.
We'd like to be with David Rabbi Chazan with benching, to lead with benching.
They were packing up.
I'll let you know.
Don't forget, tell them Rabbi Milo to sing the radio.
Matters who get it from. I also get different colors.
I'm sure the women's speaker take down from now until I find it.
Rabbi Milo was my second grade Rebbe.
Right up. Huh? Right up.
He was the head of the best. Yeah, he was my second grade Rebbe in 1959. He told me I was on something. So then you know where I'm coming from.
I didn't know before.
9 years old. But I'm here. That's right. What's his name?
Abramo Fishner is going to be reading by it right now.
Rabbi Winner, small guys,
Rabbi Prison invites everybody.
Winner is my son's brother, Farbrengen. See, listen. His wife was my son's teacher. I'm going to have to take you. He was my son's rebbe. He's self-driving. How about that? Yeah, you see it, yeah. I don't know what she was about.
Hide it right now.
Oh, yeah, we're done?
I'm done with the microphone.
No, he's a real son. For real. He's like
The wireless
maybe from a beanie.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Not quite there, but you know what I mean. You get the picture. So like Rabbi Milo. That's it. Not good? Rabbi Milo is a big son.
Is it? Hey, you want more?
Rabbi B. Oh, Mr. Harry. Rabbi Marlow was my second grade Rebbe in 1959. Alright? Nachum Mendel Schreiber, Stam Schreiber Zainikel. I used to cut his hair. I didn't know that though. He just said conscious bench. Listen, I'm a Stam Schreiber Zainikel. One leg. Nachum Mendel Schreiber, he told me, and I didn't know what he was talking about, like some service I was doing the show. I am a Schreiber, I came late, I'm sorry. Alright. 1959. Your mother was my Rebbe. Who? And my brother and my brother. Oh, the hospital? Yeah, it's me.